welcome back to the podcast. My name is Samantha, for those of you who are new, and today I have a good friend of mine who is one of the most beautiful souls I know, Andrea. Andrea is a clinical psychologist and psychotherapist with over 6 years of experience in private practice, and she is deeply interested in emotional honesty, intimacy, and self understanding. And she also co hosts a psychology podcast exploring topics such as anxiety, shame, and personal growth. And her work and her voice are grounded in real life experiences, relationships, and a warm feminine perspective. So, welcome, Andrea. I'm so excited to have you on.
So excited to be here, Samantha. Thank you for having me and being so generous with
Oh,
your
of
yeah
course. It's such an honor to have you. Thank you for coming on.
nice presentation. Thank you.
Okay, so let's tell the people about you. Tell us about who you are and what you do. I know I gave a little bit of a background, but let's hear it from you personally. Like, what do you do? Who are you?
It's not it's never easy to answer this question, that simple question, who we are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm from Romania. I live here and I work here. And yeah, I'm a psychologist, and I work with people live in this office.
Yeah.
I also have groups of women, of teenagers. I go to schools to teach and to be present with them and to learn also from the teenagers. And but first of all, I think I'm a human being.
Of
Yeah,
course.
a mother, a daughter, wife, a friend, a
Yeah.
colleague. I have all kinds of roles. I'm also a woman,
Mhm.
and I try to navigate this role with an open heart, as you said, and with presence, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a journey.
Journey, and it's like I love how multidimensional you are because you mentioned all the different roles that you play. Like I can only imagine too in your work you play multiple different roles, but then taking your identity from your work outside of work and who you are as a person, as a human being, as a woman, like all of these things are so complex and so multi-layered, which leads me to my next question. Given all of these identities that you shared with me just now, like what brought you to these identities? Like what inspired you to go into the field that you're in right now? And how did these roles in your life that you just mentioned contribute to, your professional life?
Oh my God, it's they are so interconnected.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
it's it's fun also, but it's not easy.
Yeah, it can get messy sometimes too.
But if I'm being honest, uh, the birth of my child inspired me to go on this road
Yeah.
of therapy, self awareness, and healing. If I can put it like this, like healing, but it's not. I think, yeah, when I got pregnant,
Hmm.
I felt inside of me a responsibility, you know,
Hmm.
that I must. I know some people don't like the word must.
I love the word must.
For me, I said, oh my God, I must go myself in therapy, and in my own process. And I simply fell in love with therapy.
Oh,
Yeah, 11 years ago. Yeah, I started my own process, And I was lucky enough, to find beautiful people that helped me
Mhm.
to navigate all the process, especially at the beginning, you are feeling so lost,
Of
and
course.
yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's scary too. Your first time going to therapy. I remember my first therapy session. I ghosted my therapist. I I was I
Not
mean,
for the therapist, but so fun to remember.
yeah. And it's funny because, my therapist, she's so lovely. Like she's been my therapist for over 10, 11 years.
Same.
I've had her since I was probably a teenager. And yeah, but I ghosted her at first. And, she, when I came back and I was ready, because my first session, she was telling me things I did not want to hear?
I
I was
know.
like, damn, I don't even want to talk about that because I know you're right. I know I need to change this part of my life, but I don't want to. So I'm just so curious, like, how was your first time in therapy and what fears came up for you? I'm so curious to hear.
So it was such. Oh my God. So my first time was when I was starting telling my personal history to my therapist, and I said, it's fine. I know I'm a regular person. I will be like a normal person, not very, not special in any field. It's fine. I accepted my fate. It's okay. Yeah, I was so down.
Yeah, of
Now I can see, but then I didn't see that much because, you know, I was little.
course, yeah.
Yeah, and she said, "Oh my God, no." She was so supportive, and she said, "No, it's impossible. You must have a talent,
Mhm.
but you didn't have the time and the energy, and no one was there to like guide you to find your inner resources and your inner value."
Yeah.
Yeah, I was self-esteem, no, down. Yeah. And she was so supportive, and I think that is the reason I fell in love with therapy. I had like a beautiful experience with my first therapist. uh, I have like a new therapist from 6 years now. Yeah, but all the relationship with my therapist and the other relationship with my therapist was ended very good. We have like closed the chapter. She helped me navigate my my wounds with my parents, the hard stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I learned how to get in touch with my inner child and to do the reparenting work.
Mhm. So important.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think that that's such an important thing to take ownership for and accountability, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, I can even relate. Like I've had to heal a lot of wounding with my parents, and I really love that you just like took accountability because you're like, okay, I'm gonna be a parent soon. I don't
Yeah.
want to repeat what's happened to me. I want to show up differently for my children. And you took responsibility for it, even though obviously it was never your fault, whatever had happened to you. But I think it's so important for us to take ownership and accountability of our healing journeys because if we continue to blame and just kind of sit in like a victim mindset, it can be so self-sabotaging. And I'm telling you, girl, from experience, I know I used to be in victim mindset. I did not want to look at my shit. And I think it takes a really courageous individual to one to go to therapy and then like to actually be vulnerable and apply like the integration piece of I always tell my clients this too. It's like you can show up to sessions, but and that's part of it. But the real part is like taking what you guys talked about in sessions, the exercises, and creating a whole new different lifestyle around what you've actually talked about and putting it into place, right? So, yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And like, I think too with I know you mentioned that you closed that chapter with your last therapist, and I love that because I don't think we have to stay with the same coaches, the same therapists for the rest of our lives. Like, even for myself, I've had many mentors, I've had other therapists too. And I think it's helpful because it helps us to see different viewpoints. And because, I mean, you're a therapist as well too. So, like, we often, even if we're conscious about it, we often are coaching and therapizing from our own lived experiences, right? Even if we have like training and we can be like non-biased, we're still human beings, right? So I
So
just
it's me.
yeah, yeah. So, okay, I want to come back to this question that I had for you. And because, I know you love talking about relationships and intimacy and confidence, and I love that too. So, we're going to have a beautiful conversation about this. So, I wanted to ask you, like, how do you feel like your work has impacted your personal relationships in love? Especially, like, I know you talked about healing a lot of childhood wounding when you went to your therapist, and the reason why, one of the big reasons, one of the big pushes was when you got pregnant, right? And so like I want to talk about how, like what led up to that, and like especially when it comes to intimacy and sharing more like more vulnerable sides of yourself.
Yeah. Oh my God. So it's such a beautiful topic.
Yeah,
Uh, the one with the intimacy and sharing the vulnerable sides of ourselves.
yeah,
And yeah, oh my God, it was so. I think my work as a therapist, uh, at first at least, impacted a big time my relationship with my husband and my child
yeah.
because yeah, I was so excited to begin this career, and unfortunately, I wasn't that nice at home, because
I love how honest you are.
maybe it's not, the answer that I don't know people were expecting, but I'm
Yeah,
not
but
sure.
I love your honesty. I love it.
So I was like playing smart ass, oh, I know that
Yeah.
kind of, and I used to like be with my child, sort of. Now I can see that I was being distant, but
Mhm.
now then I thought, oh, I'm being smart. I'm being like a modern parent, and oh no, I understand your feelings, but basically I was fake.
Okay.
And I was acting from a place of fear.
Yeah.
I was afraid to mess things up with my child, with my boy. I was afraid not to become my mother.
Yeah.
I was full of fears, you know.
Yeah.
And, we grow in crisis,
Yep. Hmm.
it's the best thing. We cannot be afraid of arguing and it's fine. It's an opportunity to grow and to expand and to be more mature. And one day my husband said, Andrea, please, this is not your office. Be like, yeah. And I said, oh, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And yeah. And then I took it to my therapy, my personal. process.
Yeah.
And the therapist explained to me, so this is a part of you and this is another part. And,
Yeah.
therapies were not so easy, because we see patterns, we see where our partners, our friends, where they gaslight themselves, where they go around in circles. But we must like take a step back and allow ourselves to be like human beings
Yeah.
and to be, yeah. But now it's fun, but at the time it was very frustrating,
Of
but it was a very good thing for us because, yeah, I told my husband, so, I'm just starting and I think I need like some validation that I'm good at it. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, maybe if
You're
you
like, just
want,
tell me I'm good at it.
maybe if you want, sometimes you can like tell me how good I am.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love you so much. Like, I just love how honest you are and you're just like so upfront with your needs.
Yeah,
It's just so, oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
it's a fairy tale, but we kind of like sorted things out because in the end we also went in couples therapy and we had help to like make space for each other, to have like
Yes.
space and to learn how we can benefit one of the other presence,
Yeah.
and it was so good. It was like life changing. And yeah, I'm not ashamed to say that I needed help. I
No.
didn't have relationship models when I don't think anyone had, like,
Well,
you know,
yeah. And I think it's just like brave when couples go to couples therapy because there's such a stigmatism around therapy itself, and there's a stigmatism around like letting people know your relationship problems because somebody can have a healthy relationship, they can be in a happy relationship, and there still might be some problems that come up, Like, think about it. It's like, especially when you're living with someone and you're in their space, like you guys are sharing space, right? There's so many mirrors that are going to come up that are going to be reflected back to you around deeper wounding that needs to be addressed, or where space actually needs to be created, where acceptance, like there, it's just so multi-layered when you're sharing a space with someone, right? And going to therapy, I think, is one of the best things, or hiring a mentor or a coach, somebody who knows their shit. We're not hiring just anybody, but when we have that and like somebody to like navigate through these problems with us, it just helps us to see a different side of the relationship, a different side of our partners, and to even like acknowledge the sides of ourselves that we didn't even know existed, right? And so I think it's brave that you guys went to therapy, and I don't think it's anything to be ashamed of. And I think like I would love to hear about this because you mentioned that you're from Romania. So where were you born and raised there?
yeah.
Yeah. So like I mean, forgive me because I don't know too much about the culture of Romania. So I would love to know like how did you growing up, and how does therapy and the culture, how do they view that? Is it something like I know for myself, like my parents are from India, and like therapy, if you're in therapy, it means like you're crazy. So I'm wondering, like, is it the same for Romania? Like what, like educate us on this. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's totally another podcast for this subject.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will try to be like brief as I can.
Okay.
So yeah, we have also the same limiting belief as a culture that if you go to therapy, must be crazy or something is deadly wrong with you. But in the last few years, things changed.
Yeah.
The social media helped, and yeah.
Yeah.
And but when I was young, oh my God, I didn't know that this job, this career path existed. We didn't know. We didn't have. In my city where I grew up, oh my, never heard of psychologist. And I think I was like, yeah, I was. Mm, Now it's funny because now also my mom is in therapy.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah, I managed to send all my family. Couple of control issues, but okay, it's fine.
I love that. Oh my gosh, you are powerful. I love that.
So yeah, so my brother is in therapy. My mother is in therapy. My mother-in-law.
Oh my gosh, you
Oh,
even infiltrated the in-laws.
yeah. My husband was in therapy. I don't know if I was the cause of this. I'm joking, but yeah. Now the people are more open, and even I live in a not a very big city, in Romania. I don't live in the capital. I have more and more people that are calling me and booking sessions, and they have such great results.
Yeah.
And in therapy we don't perform. It's not
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
but they they need it so much,
Yeah.
and they are so receptive, and they are craving being seen and being listened and being held and being. It's such a privilege to get to do this, even if I started late in my life. But yeah, I'm so honored. And
Yeah, and like I can only imagine like they're getting great results because you're holding the safest space for them, right? I think like what you said, there's so many people who are craving to be seen, to be held, and not be judged for their past or for the thoughts that they have, you know? And I love what you said around how like therapy, it's a space to be non-performative, right? And we need more of that because like I love social media and I know you do too. Like we showcase our lives on there. It's a part of our expression. You know, you're creative as well. I see that. And I also think that there's another side to social media where like we're only seeing the highlight of people's lives. And that's what I love about, what you post because you don't sugarcoat things. You literally tell it how it is. I love the post that you made recently about you and your husband and how, something came up that was like a limiting belief, and the way like you navigated through it was so beautiful. And you were just open, raw, and honest about it, right? And I think you are such a great model for one, just as a great human being, but just for like you're giving people permission to show up as their true authentic self. And we hear the word authentic thrown around as well too. But I think there's hearing the word and actually like being the full embodiment of it. And I think that you are like just the way that you are just so honest about things that are happening like that, like nothing's perfect, and the way that you navigate there is just really beautiful. So yeah, I can imagine that the clients who come to you, they feel that safety. One, because, I'm positive that you have a lot of lived experiences where your clients can relate to you, which I think it's so important as a therapist to like have these lived experiences because there's just so many things when it comes to trauma that like if you haven't been through it, like you're not gonna understand. You're just not gonna get it. And so, yeah, I love that your clients see the results. I'm not even surprised because, they're working with the best of the best. You know what I
oh,
mean?
Yeah.
It's the
Mm.
truth though. It's the truth, right? So, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Okay, so the next question. So you're currently married. Tell us about the phases and lessons you learned leading up to your marriage and finding your person. This is my favorite question. I love hearing people's like history of love, history of heartbreak, history of breakthroughs. Like, oh, I love this. So I'm excited to hear your answer on this.
So yeah, I'm not gonna tell you a fairy tale as you expected,
Mhm.
But yeah, as I grew, I had like this idea about love that one day you'll meet your guy and you will fall in love,
Yeah.
the same story that we saw in movies or in
Yeah.
books,
Yeah.
yeah. And I thought someone will come and rescue me and make me happy.
Mhm.
Then life, it was, yeah, but so I started like in very like, I don't have another word than toxic, I think, but unhealthy maybe is a better, sorry,
That's okay.
a better word. So very unhealthy relationship.
Mhm.
I was unhealthy. I was acting, I was like very codependent
Yeah.
and taking care of their needs
Mhm.
and being very afraid to say no
Yeah.
and thinking I was deserving those treatments.
Mhm.
It's not an easy story. Even now, I feel a bit emotional when I remember.
Yeah, of course.
I also was in an abusive
Yeah.
relationship, emotional and physical.
Oh, I'm
So,
sorry to hear that.
yeah. And after 4 years in that relationship, because now I know I was being so affected by my parents' relationship and the way,
Hmm. Yeah.
they, you know, it stuck with me, and I was living with the belief that I don't deserve love.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe I was, and no, maybe for sure I was associating love with, punishment. And
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
so, um, I was finishing my first university, and I had like a conversation with God, if I,
Yeah.
and I said to God, so hear me out, God. I I know I don't have the courage to break up with this guy, but maybe you can help me. Yeah, I was just a little girl, a young girl, and I needed someone, yeah, to help me.
Yeah.
And I remember I asked God, please let him break up with me
Hmm.
so I can like escape this nightmare. It was
Yeah.
such such a hard experience. And yeah, 2 months later, the relationship finished.
Uh-huh.
He found another girl. He is married with that girl. Thank God. And
Yeah.
yeah, I was 2 years single, and I was navigated through the grieving loss, the grieving process, and I was trying just to find and rebuild myself, to rebuild my trust, and to lick my wounds,
Sure.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was so fortunate that I had my family,
Yeah.
I had friends, and yeah, but now that I think, if I hadn't been in that relationship, I would never like gone to therapy and start,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I think it was like a necessary
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not uh, I don't know, maybe it's not a path that all humans must take, but it was my path.
Yeah.
And now I can like share it and to be like graceful in a way that, yeah, I was courageous enough like to ask for help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just want to pull out this like key piece of what you said. Like I love that you shared your connection to God because like when
Mhm.
I think of God, I think of like the divine masculine, you know? And the moment like you were in that relationship and you weren't with somebody who was a divine masculine, right? It was like the complete opposite. And so even though like you were asking for what seemed was outside of you, I feel like you insourced it because I always believe that like God is within us. And like you were asking that divine masculine for protection and, courage and to kind of like guide you. Just like, for example, I know all of us can think of a safe masculine in our life. And sometimes when things go wrong as women, we want to retreat to the masculine to be protected, to be led, to be held, it's a very different energy than going to your girlfriend. It is different. Like I really want to put that out there. And so for you to have the courage to connect and be honest around like, hey, like right now where I'm at, like I just know that I can't do this. So like I'm asking for what I love to call like divine intervention, you know? And I love
Mhm.
that God heard your prayers. And then,
And also, he heard my prayers when I met my husband. Yeah.
yeah, oh my God. Okay, tell me about that. Tell me about that.
And 2 years and kind of like dating around, but nothing serious.
Mhm.
I said to God, God, so please bring me a nice man
Yeah.
and a good man for me. I don't ask the another woman,
Yeah.
man. I ask my own, you know. And I think I deserve it.
You're
We
so funny.
yeah. And yeah, in that night, I was entering on Facebook because Instagram it wasn't that popular then, and I felt inside of me to like change my status and to be like single. I declared on Facebook, I'm
Yeah,
single. Yeah,
it's official.
I'm single.
Yeah.
I think it was the first time I owned that
Hmm.
because I was a little bit ashamed because, yeah, my relationship ended and things went south.
Yeah.
And after 1 hour, one hour, my husband, my actual husband,
Yeah.
wrote to me, so, how are you? And maybe I think I know you from a common friend, and maybe we can like go on a coffee. And I was just, no, this cannot be.
Yeah.
And yeah, the rest is history. Yeah, we started dating, and it was like a different, a totally different story.
Yeah.
I I didn't have like any emotion. If he will call, he will text back. It was so safe with him. Yeah, and it was so hard for me because I was used to like unavailable.
Yeah. Ignored, neglected.
Yeah, what is this? This is respect. Oh my God, it's totally new.
This is respect.
Yeah, and this is safety. This, you know, normal behavior.
Yeah.
And
Well,
and
I just love too that like you declared and started owning yourself being single. And it's just funny because as soon as you started owning it, God's like, nope, we're taking you off the market ASAP. But I love that you followed that like intuitive guidance because and this is what I love about like just your story in itself just shows how connected you are to your spirituality, how connected you are to God, to your own inner self as well too. Like even in your hardest moments, right? Like and this is what I tell my clients too. I was talking to a client the other day and it was she felt like she was lacking something like feminine in regards to femininity, and I was like, girl, it's not outside of you, like it's inside of you. There's just layers that are probably covering it up and we just want to bring it to the surface, right? And so like your story is such a testament to like you can actually get exactly what you want even in the midst of the messiness. You can find your partner in the midst of your messiness. You can leave a hard relationship in the midst of your messiness, right? And it's just it really comes back to self-connection. And you can be self-connected and still experience the hardships of life and also still have the success in relationships and intimacy in money and like everything, right? Because I think, we see again a lot of like highlight reels online of like, oh, you have to be this, you have to be that to get what you want. And your story is just a beautiful testament of like you were doing the work, you were doing the integration, you asked for help from your spirit team, from God, and like you followed your intuitive guidance, and every single step along the way led you to where you are now. And I want to touch too on like you said that your relationship, your past relationship that was really abusive, that if you didn't go through that, then you probably wouldn't have gone to therapy, right? And then I really love that perspective because it resonates with me in my story too, around like there I do believe that we have to go through certain hardships to grow to because the hardships make us feel uncomfortable, and as human beings we hate discomfort. But there's certain discomfort that's like positive and healthy, and then there's other discomfort that like, of course it's happened and we need to like get ourselves out of the situation, and it happened for us to learn certain skills to build on the character and the identity that we want to become, right? And so I just love how your story, that it's just so honest, beautiful, raw, that it highlights like literally all of these points. So yeah, you should be so proud of yourself. Like, and it's so nice to learn all of these things about you because, um, you see, like, I love this about you. You have all these photo shoots and you're just so much in your divine feminine. And I think we can see like the quote unquote end result of someone in their confidence doing these photo shoots, having beautiful sexy hair, having this beautiful relationship, having a thriving therapy practice. But a lot of people don't know the story behind it and the hardship, the work, the integration that took you to get there, right? Like this is not an overnight process, right?
Not at all. Yeah,
No,
not at all.
not
Yeah.
at all. So I'm just like, I'm just so honored to hear your story and for you to share it with the world because, I mean, people need to hear your story because it's absolutely beautiful. And I know that there's going to be so many people who relate to this, like including myself, like I can relate to so many pieces of your story. So, yeah. Okay, next
Okay.
question. How, so these lessons that you spoke about in this last question, right? How do these lessons and the way you operate, sorry, how do these lessons and the way you operate in marriage differ from your past experiences? Like, how do you
Mm.
feel like you show up differently in your marriage now than past experiences?
Oh my God. I am so much free now.
Yeah.
I have a lot of freedom. I don't feel the amount of fear and shame that I felt in my past relationship, and um the need to perform, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. yeah, I really was stuck in that
Yeah.
a kind of pattern that I needed to perform in a relationship and to make myself likable and not, not share my 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 the parts in me that weren't okay with, some things.
Yeah.
And now it's the best. I have like, but also it's because of my husband.
Yeah.
He is an open and very spiritual person, and even before we got live now, he's working near me. He's not far away, and he was here with me and um, asked me, "Do you need something? Yeah, you need me to stay with you and to help you like get relaxed." And yeah, I think yeah, even for him, it was like the first relationship that he felt like he's allowed to be whole,
Yeah.
yeah, and to share with me his fears and his mind. And yeah, but I must say, he was like the first man that didn't get in. I don't know how to say this in English, but let me think. He wasn't fooled by my by the victim part in me,
Okay.
because yeah, before I was like, oh my God, you're making me suffer and do not do that, and kind
Yeah.
of manipulation tactics,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he was the first man. No, we need to have like a serious conversation. I
Yeah.
won't I won't
Called you
fall.
forward. Yeah, he called you forward.
Yeah, and what is this? We're not children. It's
Yeah.
fine. Get over it. Let's talk and let's, yes, get to the bottom of it. What happened so wrong? What?
Yeah.
And yeah, and from him, I've learned to say no. I was so impressed because one time a friend of him called him and asked him for money.
Mhm.
And I was like, give all away, yeah, to all my
Yeah.
friends. No limits, no boundaries, no. It's all like, yeah, and then like feared, oh my God, I need to pay her, but so it was a mess. And his friend called him and he said, I need some money, and he told his friend, so I have the money, but I won't give it to you because we are friends and probably we will argue about the money. And I still want you in my life, and it's better not to lend you your money. And I
He's
said,
boundaries. Yeah.
we can do this in relationship? What? They know. And yeah, it was like, 14 years ago, but it was like for me, it was very impactful.
Of
And
yeah.
And he learned from me to like be more free and be more open to new experience and to happy, because he's Capricorn and he was like all about the money, all about the strategy, all. And I'm an Aquarius and he said, and we like learn from each other, and
Yeah.
it was so helpful.
Well, also too, like I think he like okay, we were talking about like the divine masculine. It just sounds like he is so much in his healthy masculinity, right? Of like he's honest, he set a boundary, and he's like hey, I want to keep this friendship, so this matters to me more than, overstepping my boundary, right? And just like you said too, like you're the complete embodiment of divine femininity, right? So like you guys are both showing each other different sides where there might be gaps in, your identity and gaps in his identity, and you guys are just like exchanging these beautiful codes and like co-creating this life together. So I love that. And I love that, you guys are just both so open to receiving from each other because I think that's a huge thing in a relationship. Like, not just like the good parts of showing each other, oh, like, let's be more free and, let's have more strategy here, but even the hard parts, having the hard conversations, like what you mentioned with when he kind of called you forward and was like, "Hey, like let's actually just have a conversation and get to the root cause of this." That can be when somebody calls you forward with love and with groundedness and with safety, that can be so fucking healing because, like, it can be so healing, especially if you are used to when conflict arises and if you use your voice that you're manipulated, you're gaslit, you're talked down to. And when someone calls you forward saying, "Hey, like I love you. I want to work through this with you in a safe way." It's such a permission slip to like let those walls down around the heart and to be like, "Okay, it's safe to do this, like it's safe to relax." And conflict is not a bad thing, right? It's a beautiful opportunity to grow if both people are committed to that growth and both people are open and receptive. And so you've just told us so many beautiful examples about your relationship and how that's like present in your relationship. So that's so beautiful. I love that. I love that.
I love how you like put put the context around my stories. I simply love that. I enjoy every moment, every word you say, and it's
Oh,
such an honor to
thank you
listen
so much.
and to feel your energy. It's
Oh,
amazing.
you too. Thank you so much. I'm just so happy we got to have this conversation. We haven't even told everybody how we met. Okay, we'll save that. We'll save that for the end. We probably should have done that in the beginning, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna jump to the last question. Okay, do you have any exercises you recommend to your clients who want to understand themselves better so that they can build a different relationship with the shame that they carry?
Oh my God. Shame.
That old shame.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's such a profound subject,
Yeah,
and I love it so much. And I think I work with a lot of shame
yeah,
in my yeah, and I had to overcome a lot of shame because now I feel free to like be. But in high school, I had like teachers that were saying, what is up with your hair?
oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
please, like,
What do you mean?
what is up with this? What do you know? Hey, and so I'm too much. And some colleagues were making fun of me because, yeah.
Yeah.
But so I think shame can handle the truth.
I love that.
Yeah. I think going inside for your truth and to simply deciding to be brave enough to what is the truth here.
Yeah.
Shame, it's it loses her power.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it, but it's the most hidden emotion, shame. And
Yeah.
we often feel shame that we feel ashamed.
Yeah. I know,
No,
I know.
no, I'm ashamed. No, it's shame. And I think for me and for my clients really helps connecting to the truth and name it. Yeah, so now I feel ashamed, and so it's completely the sensation we feel because we feel it in our bodies.
Of course, yeah. Of course.
Like we know it's there, you
Yeah.
know. We know we carry shame from when we are like 2 or 3, or I don't know, when our parents or our caregivers, I don't know,
Mm.
maybe grandpa,
Yeah.
like telling us how we are, and yeah, I think simply be curious. A practice that I use and that I recommend to my clients is simply feel it,
Yeah.
name it, and you can grab a pen and and invite her to speak.
I love that. Inviting shame to speak. Yes.
You have all the space now. I'm here. I'm listening.
Yeah. And I love this exercise because I think like shame comes from being like asked to hide parts of ourselves because it's not accepted, right? And so when you can give shame a voice, because underneath shame isn't shame, there's multiple different emotions, right? There's anger, there's sadness, there's, neglect, there's unacceptance. There's just, it depends on the individual, right? And so I love that. Like, take the pen, name the shame, take the pen, and give shame a voice, unfiltered, unfiltered, and just let it come through. I think
Yeah,
like I'm someone who's a big journaler as well, and I think pen to paper is so powerful. Like, and I think that there's actually been studies shown that pen to paper
mhm,
actually does like relieve a lot of stuff that you're carrying in your head. It relieves mental clutter. But, we were talking about how we carry a lot of shame in our body, and simply just like witnessing ourselves, like sometimes it can be hard to have other people witness us in our shame. So if you're not at that part in your journey yet where you're feeling comfortable to I'll like kind of expose yourself, even in a safe space, allow yourself to be witnessed by you. And that could be through this exercise, I think. So, yeah, I love it. I love it.
always will survive this conversation. I assure you, you
Yeah.
will survive the conversation with your
Cool.
yeah.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, you will survive the conversation. Because on like a mental and logical level, sometimes we think like we can't, of like, oh my gosh, I just can't. If I do this, then, we go to the place of like it feels like we're gonna like die. Right? Even though logically we know that that's not true, but the feeling of it, right? And that feeling can intensify when we don't address these emotions. And I think, yeah, like just everything you described in this exercise, in this conversation, is going to help so many people. Yeah.
Also, I
Thank you so much for coming on. But I want to tell everybody how we met
think
each other because it was like love at first sight.
yeah.
We, so my previous mentor, Jenna, was holding it was like a connection call for a whole bunch of women. And we got put in these breakout rooms, and Andrea and I got paired together. And from the first second, it was a
We
connection.
clicked.
We just clicked. We were just talking as if we knew each other from before, because we probably have in a past life.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And then we just stayed connected and just, followed each other on social media and started, building a friendship through there. And then here we are today. We had the most beautiful conversation and, we've learned so much about each other too. I'm so happy that you got to share your story and just thank you. Like, it's such an honor to have you on the podcast. Where can people find you?
So people can find me on Instagram. I'm Andrea Florea, a psychotherapist, but in Romanian, But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll link it in.
Andrea Florea on Instagram, and I also have a website. And yeah, and the podcast I held, they are also in Romanian. Maybe someone from Romania is listening to us and maybe will get curious. I don't know. But yeah, mostly on Instagram. Yeah, it's the easiest. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm gonna link your handle in the notes.
Yeah.
And anyone feel free to follow her. You should follow her, especially if you just love looking at a beautiful face. But not only her beautiful face, she shares amazing insights, and she's someone that I admire and someone who's inspired me on so many levels, and I'm just so grateful that our paths have crossed. So thank you for coming on. I love you so much. And
Yeah, love you, and love how you held the space, and you are such a open person, and you were yeah, it's a dream come true because I didn't hope to like be on a podcast mostly in English because I don't speak English. I know English from the high school and from the movies.
yeah, that's another thing, guys. Okay, so this is Andrea's first online podcast in English. So English is not her first language, but her English is beautiful. Your English is great, honestly. You express yourself so well, and even just through your energy and your body language, like I know that people are going to be receiving all of this. But yeah, you did incredible, and just so, so happy that you came on. So thank you for being
Thank
here.
you so much for having me, and yeah, hope the people will love it, will like it, and yeah, I had a wonderful time.
If this resonated with you guys, feel free to share the episode to your stories on Instagram, tag myself and Andrea as well, and message me. Like, I want to know what your insights were, what you took away from this podcast, and don't forget to rate the podcast and leave a comment. It helps so much, it impacts the way that this podcast gets out. So, I would be so grateful. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.